Well, it's a virus spreading literally around the world, and doctors say people need to take it seriously, especially women who want to become pregnant. Each day, more and more people are testing positive for the Zika virus. It's transmitted by infected mosquitoes. We have live team coverage on this story we've been following since it broke last week. RT's Marina Portnaya is in Miami, where she's been talking extensively with doctors and experts. But we're going to start first with RT's Ashlee Banks in the newsroom with what a top specialist is saying about a new case in Virginia. Ashlee.
Yeah, Simone, so recently a Virginia resident contracted the virus while traveling in an affected area. However, according to the Virginia Department of Health, the resident cannot transmit the virus. That's in part because mosquitoes don't survive in the snow and cold weather that we are experiencing now here in the Washington area. As we've been saying, the disease is transmitted by infected mosquitoes. The virus can cause a serious birth defect for women who contract the virus while pregnant. For everyone else, the most common symptoms are fever, rash, and joint pain. According to the CDC, more than 30 people have been diagnosed with the Zika virus in 11 states and the District of Columbia. The virus is also present in 23 countries, including Brazil, Bolivia, and Ecuador. Earlier today, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases spoke at the Renaissance Hotel in Washington, D.C. His message was how to avoid contracting the virus. Here's what Dr. Anthony Fuchsia had to say.
You're going to say, don't go to Brazil because I'm afraid of getting Zika, then you shouldn't go to Brazil because you're afraid of getting dengue, which is much more serious. The issue that's the real issue is the pregnancy issue. And that should not be taken lightly, because if there is indeed, and again, evidence is mounting, that there is a true connection, that's something that has to be taken very seriously, which is the reason why the CDC did something they don't usually do. They said, you know, if you're pregnant, that we tell you, just think seriously about postponing your travel to these regions.
The CDC has issued travel alerts for pregnant women in 24 countries, including Brazil, Ecuador, and Venezuela, where the transmission of the virus is ongoing. Back to you, Simone.
Thank you, Ashlee. Well, good news for people up north with the snow that the transmission is not likely. But Marina, down where you are, that is certainly not the case. What can you tell me about what you've been learning down in Miami?
That's right. The specific mosquito, as we've been reporting, that can contract and spread this virus is the Aedes aegypti mosquito. That species of mosquito is in South Florida, as well as other parts of the United States, like parts of California, Texas, Arkansas, southern parts of the U.S., Midwest parts of the U.S. Now, it may be cold by you guys in D.C. and Virginia, but it's a bit warmer in Miami, where, you know, you're usually getting 70 and 80-degree weather for the majority of the year. That's why it's a bit more concerning in hot areas, in hot, humid areas where the Aedes aegypti mosquito lives. Now, I spoke with the head of mosquito control here in Miami earlier today. He told me there hasn't been that much of an increase of calls that he's getting from residents. Calls are welcome from residents that say they see the mosquitoes, they want their neighborhood sprayed. He did tell me, though, that of the 2 confirmed cases of Zika in Miami, people that contracted the virus while traveling overseas, mosquito control went out and sprayed all around their homes where they live to make sure that those people that are infected with Zika does not get bitten by the specific mosquito that we're talking about. That is a vector. That is a carrier. So while the mosquitoes that we have here may be healthy, if they bite someone in the U.S. who is infected, then that mosquito becomes infected and then can pass it along to the next person it bites. Right now, it is not considered a concern. Officials are saying there's not a high risk at the moment. They just need to make sure that the vector, the species of mosquito that can transmit this virus, is not infected by anybody that comes back to the United States with the Zika virus.
Well, Marina, I certainly hope that a lot of other cities that are experiencing someone that has symptoms is doing the same thing that Miami is doing there and spraying. RT's Marina Portnaya and Ashlee Banks, thank you so much for your reporting.